But football without fans is nothing. It can be the greatest game in the world. If there are no people there to watch it, it becomes nothing.
Johnston. And a goal by Johnston. That makes it 2 by him.
We were magnificent. Magnificent.
Larson. Oh, he's in. Henrik Larsson. That is sensational. Nakamura.
The game is over. The Rebels have won.
He's done it! Jarman's put it in, and without a doubt, the European Cup is on its way.
We'll never stop. We'll stop at half time, and we'll stop at the end of the game when we celebrate.
Alright, what's happening, guys? Saturday the 9th of April, and we've probably just seen one of the most comprehensive victories at Parkhead ever, man. Celtic 7, St Johnstone 0. Paddy, what?
Mate, that was unbelievable. You know, we were coming into this game, we had confidence, mate, coming into the game. But there was still that wee kind of thing, like we need to be very wary of St Johnstone. Could they cause an upset? But I tell you what, mate, we've answered every single question put forward. And this today, mate, is an absolute statement of intent by Ange. And it's an absolute statement of our intentions to win this league. We are winning this league, mate, and we've done it today. Well, we've not done it, but we're on our way after a 7-goal thriller, mate. Unbelievable. Magnificent 7. Incredible.
Did you actually notice it whenever O'Reilly scored the 7th goal? Or was it Abada who scored the 7th goal?
Abada.
I think I'm wrong, but was there did they play the Magnificent 7, the music?
They did.
Aye.
Yep.
Mate, what a game. And as you said, like going into it, we're riding the crest of a wave right now. It's a feel-good factor. Everybody's on their game. Everybody's like firing on all cylinders. And we were going into the game with the music. Kyogo was coming back into the match squad. We saw him on the bench. But Celtic, it was another chance to stretch our lead from 6 points to 9 points before Sefco play tomorrow against St Mirren. And St Johnstone at that point, their motivation for going into the game was, well, not much of a motivation because they were nowhere near getting into the top 6. That wasn't a possibility for them. They're second from bottom, and they've already got a cushion between them and Dundee. So I don't really, they weren't really that motivated, I guess, but it kind of looked like that. It was boys against men, though, so one-sided, and everybody was getting in the act. It was a typical lineup. Hart, Juranovic, Cameron Carter, Vickers, Starfelt and Taylor, the back 5, the midfield, Hatate, McGregor and Rodgers, and up front, Maeda, Giakoumakis and Jota. Maeda get man of the match, but there were so many performers. What did you think of Maeda, the man of the match?
Gav, I think you could have gave it to anybody today, but you look at Maeda, and I seen a comment, and it was about the end of the match here that he was getting interviewed, and you saw the day, mate. You saw how much running he done today. You saw how much running he's done ever since he's come in, but there was not one bead of sweat on that guy's head. It's unbelievable. I've never seen a player with an engine like that in my life, honestly, other than maybe like a Ronaldo who never faltered. You know what I mean? Never started to kind of lose his pace or anything during a game at his peak. No, that I'm kind of comparing Ronaldo to Maeda, but wow, what a player we've got in our hands there, mate, and just everything. So this team, mate, I says to you earlier on, this is one of the most pressing teams in a Celtic that I've ever seen in my life. I can't compare them to another team, mate. And Maeda is a massive part of that. Look at every single goal that comes for his pressing, every single piece of kind of shithousery, if you want. Like, he's just coming from nowhere and he's putting the goalkeepers under pressure. He's putting defenders under pressure. They're misplacing passes. They're actively shaking. You know, they don't know where this guy's coming from. It's like a shadow. He's like a wee kind of Bond baddie. He just comes out the shadows, mate. And just, what a wee guy. What a handsome wee lovely wee man. Love him.
Aye, mate. There were so many like good, positive things to take away from today. Obviously, 7-0 speaks for itself, but we looked imperious. That's the word I would use. So Johnstone were lucky to go into half-time having only conceded, 3, I think it was. And as you said, we were hunting in packs on the few occasions where we didn't have possession, because I think that the possession stat was 84% possession to Celtic. monumental that was. So whenever we never had possession in those rare occasions where we're hunting in packs, it actually looked intimidating. And the one thing I like about it when we're hunting in packs, it's controlled aggression. None of them leave a foot in and give away a free kick. We weren't giving away free kicks. It was just controlled aggression. Apart from that, Hart had nothing to do today. Absolutely nothing. And that's becoming a familiar story.
Joe Hart ended up playing as part of a back three at times. He was actually in a row with Starfelt and Cameron carpet slippers. That's how good he was, I know. I think there was one point early on in the match when St Johnstone got a break of the ball and it ended up with that wee guy, Glenn Middleton, breaking through. And I don't think he's too slow himself. And Juranovic just came flying back down the wing because we'd already been on the attack. And we just snuffed it out right away. We gave nothing, absolutely nothing. We went out today with a confidence and a swagger of champions, mate, of guys that are enjoying their football, guys that are in a fantastic mental kind of state to be in this position at this time of the season. Everything went to plan today. Like, the passing was crisp. The intent was there for the very, very start. St Johnstone, well, they couldn't really do anything. That's how good Celtic were. As you say, like, whenever we lost the ball, it was like a pack mentality. You could probably liken it to like a swarm of bees or a kind of school of piranha coming and attacking you. That's how many of these wee guys were just all buzzing about. Like, it's frightening. It's absolutely frightening.
Mate,
like you would have thought that the wee guy James Brown, I feel good. He was covered in honey. You know what I mean? Those wee bees, wasps. Get away.
Aye, when you're in a good mood, you hit out with some quality patter. Right, the golfing quality cannot be overstated between Celtic and St Johnstone today. The only bad thing I would say is the Giakoumakis scare. It came off early doors, right after he scored, actually. In like the 25th minute, he came off with a suspected hamstring injury. So before we go any further, by the way, welcome to the Jungle Gyms podcast. And I hope you're all doing well. So give us a like, give us a subscribe, and of course, get the comments coming in, please. Hope you're all doing well. Dale for the Celtic Supporters Club there, Celtic Supporters Podcast, sorry. Giving us a wee comment there, and he was at the game. So, mate, tell us what was it like? What was the atmosphere like? How good was it? And how buzzing were you to see Kyogo actually coming off the bench? I think it was like a standing ovation. Everybody was doing that. Whoa, to his introduction. Mate, what is it? Five games to go now. 5 games to go, and we've now learned our top 6 opponents. And that's the split now. So we've got obviously Celtic and Rangers, Hearts, they were definite. Who else have we got?
We have got Dundee United, Ross County, and Motherwell.
So what do you think of them? Dundee United, Ross County, Motherwell, and Hearts, of course. What do they bring to the table?
I think as we've seen, I don't know where we're going to be playing. I don't know kind of the home games and the away games. I'm delighted that we never got Livingston because they're just a horrible wee team with a horrible pitch. Listen, at this stage, mate, we'll take anybody on and we'll just play the same way that we're playing. Things are rosy in the garden. I know that fat lady hasn't sung yet, but she's fucking certainly warming up her voice now.
Well and truly, mate. Well and truly. By the way, what a fucking beautiful day it is outside as well. It's just that good.
Yeah. I'm just going to bounce into some of the comments now. Some people have jumped in already. I don't want to miss anybody. Palman, we've already got you up, buddy. Good to see you again. Kenneth Watson, magnificent 7 to take us to 9 ahead. Captain Calmask, that's a good one. And the boys taking us ever closer to the title. John Coyle, wow, what else can you say? What a stunning team display. Absolutely, John. And it was a magnificent team performance. Everybody was playing at the very, very top. Everybody was playing for each other, covering spaces, transitioning into spaces for the openings. Brilliant. Scott Cameron, what a fucking game. Yep. Paul Burrow, how you doing, Paddy? Gavin, hail to you, buddy. Kevin 14, these are special times. There he is, Alan Woods, the man. Hail, guys. If I'm right, that should be... Can you see that? That should be Sevco, the Diets, and Motherwell at home with Dundee United and Ross County away. Sean Smiley, hail, boys, what a game. Scott Cameron, Hatate was amazing, absolutely, mate. And Kevin 14, as good as Celtic have been for a long, long time. How can you argue with that?
Let's start with Hatate then. So Hatate was the one who opened the scoring on the 8th minute. It was a first-time shot into the far corner with his left foot. Very, very good finish. And you could actually tell for his celebration how much it meant to him. I don't know if he's been coming in for a wee bit of flack. Maybe he has. Obviously, he had a red-hot start to his Celtic career against Hearts, against Rangers. You could maybe say that he went off the boil, but that was symptomatic of Celtic at one point as well. You know, we weren't firing in all cylinders, but the goal today from Hatate was fantastic, and an early goal as well. In the 8th minute, calm the nerve. How important was that for Celtic and for the man Hatate?
Before I answer that, mate, I'll just jump in with a couple of wee comments again, just one or two. Red Scotland, how you doing, buddy? Sublime performance to back up last week, phenomenal performance. And all the way from Blue Mountains, Australia, which is Melchizedek. Excuse me if I've mispronounced that, but he says, good day, guys. How you doing, buddy? And Belly's just jumped on as well. Fantastic to a man. Hail, hail. Aye, mate, Hatate's been an important figure for us so far since he's come in and actually been started in games. I understand what you're saying about him possibly getting off the boil, which is, it's possibly to be expected. You know, the guys that came from Japan have played the majority or a full season in Japan before they've came to Celtic. But you look at the goals at that, he scored starting for the first goal against Hearts away, absolute rocket. Then the goals against the Sevco at Celtic Park to finally win the match. And even the one today, mate, that was like a kind of bobble in the box and a wee kind of back and forward. And you looked at that, he kind of just stepped back, he stood back and he waited. And as soon as he got a sniff, kind of from the left-hand side, he whipped it in with his left foot and it's went right across the goalkeeper and into the goal. So it was a great way to start off the absolute riot that was the 7-0 victory.
Yeah, it was a riot. It was a riot. Right, let's go on to...
How you doing, Manny?
Manny is my name. Manny. What is my
Manny?
Right, mate, Giakoumakis. So, the good and the bad. He scores a brilliant goal. Predatory instincts. He intercepts a cutback, a pass back inside the box, and he scored from a very acute angle. Brilliant finish, but a couple of minutes later, he pulls up with a suspected hamstring injury. So if any of the guys are hearing, if they've got the radio on, or if they're watching the live text by an Ange interview right after the game, let us know if there's any update on Giakoumakis, please. But he gets a goal, brilliant. And at that point, I was thinking, how good is that? He's got Kyogo now breathing down his neck, but he's scoring goals. The guy is just on fire. But then a couple of minutes later, he gets injured. So how pivotal is that in terms of the remaining games that we've got, and especially the game that this coming Sunday, well, next Sunday, away at Hampden to Rangers.
Mm-hmm. Mate, as far as I'm concerned, it's a massive loss. You look at the goal again, came down St Johnstone's left-hand side. Maeda is just relentless again with his pressing. The guy's forced to try and pass it back to the goalkeeper. And it wasn't the greatest of back passes. And Giakoumakis has been he's been slagged a wee bit for not being the guy with the greatest of touches. But he managed to nip in, assess the situation, read it, get in front, go in front of the goalkeeper. Took a lovely, lovely touch to get him by Xander Clark, who's a decent goalie, by the way, and managed to round him. And it was a very, very acute angle, and he managed to score it, which was great. It was a great goal to see Giakoumakis scoring, because that really should kind of give a big V to the detractors who say that he's rubbish with the ball and just a kind of instinctive goal scorer. But he's been absolutely pivotal to our rise up the top. The goals that he scored, the kind of determination that he's got in games, the way that he backs into people, holds up the play, chases down possession. He just works in this Ange team. Mm-hmm. Aye, he's pulled up the hamstring, which is very, very unfortunate, and hopefully it isn't too bad. But it's good that this stage, Gav, we have got a squad with such an abundance of quality that we can not even look to Abada, to Kyogo, and we can bring on Abada instead. You know what I mean?
I obviously gutting for Giakoumakis, because he just wants to get more and more goals between now and the end of the season. But we've got 2 more games coming up against Rangers, so I wanted to get your thoughts and the thoughts for the viewers. So if Giakoumakis is going to be out for a few games, and of course we're no strangers to hamstring injuries this season, it now gives Kyogo a proper opportunity to see. I know that the first game at Ibrox earlier on this season, Kyogo never really had a full shot at them.
There's Fudge Roaster saying Ange has said he doesn't think it's bad.
Good. Okay, well, hopefully that means that maybe it might be too early to say today, but still to be determined if Giakoumakis can start next Sunday against Rangers. But I was going to say, does it leave an intriguing question as to see how Kyogo's style gels against the Sevco's defence, to see, because it'll be a bigger park at Hampden, bigger than Ibrox, bigger than Celtic Park. So it would have been an interesting clash to see Kyogo come against them, as opposed to the swashbuckling style of a Giakoumakis. How do you think Kyogo would do against the Rangers centre backs as opposed to Giakoumakis' style?
They're certainly 2 different players, mate. And I thought, as I said to you before the last game that we played the Scum, I thought Giakoumakis' style was going to be very kind of integral to how we performed that day, because they have got kind of 2 big centre backs like your Goldson and your Balogun, and I think for me we needed somebody go in there and ruffle them up and bring others into play, which I thought Giakoumakis did in abundance. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. But again, Kyogo's a different player. Kyogo isn't just fresh out the water in terms of this team. He's played in this team. He knows what it's like. He's clearly showed up at Hampden before. You know, he's come in and won he's come in and been a massive part of winning the first title, the first trophy of the season. So it's great options to have, Gav. But I'm personally gutted to see Giakoumakis go off with hamstring. Hopefully it's not too bad, and you know he can bounce back before the game. But there's still going to be that wee kind of issue with fitness, because it's a hard thing to come back from, as a hamstring injury. So hopefully it's not a hamstring injury, but probably is. But we'll see, mate. But listen, that's next week, mate. And I'm still absolutely buzzing about today, mate. What a victory! What a performance!
And last point I would say is that I'm sure I would hope that I speak for all Celtic fans that we were buzzing to see Kyogo get back into the action, but not in this manner, not with Giakoumakis. If what was it, Third Roaster? If he said that Ange is quoted that it's not too serious, that is the case, and that's brilliant news. So let's hope in the next couple of days the news comes out that he will be fit to start against Rangers. Mate, as you said, what a game! So much positivity. And the last goal of the first half was in 36 minutes. A Maeda header from a point, brought across. A clever run from Maeda to evade the centre backs, and he just had to glance it in the bottom corner. 3-0 up at half time. It can't get any better than that, mate.
It was great play for Jota. Great play for Jota. So he's out on the left, and instead of kind of pursuing the guy on his left foot, he cuts back on his heel quite slickly, and puts a right-footed cross inverted into the box. Maeda has got the awareness and the speed and the trickery to move into position behind the guy, and scores with a header. He's probably the weirdest guy in the team, maybe between him and Greg Taylor, and he's scored a few headers for us, mate. He's got more headed goals than Giakoumakis, who's a 6'1" striker. You know, that's unbelievable. But again, this is down to his positioning, and it's down to his constant movement. He never stops. Whether he's on the left-hand side, bombing forward, cutting in, bringing other guys into play, tracking back to go and help out the defence, coming through into the centre to help out midfield, or ghosting in as a kind of secondary striker. It's unbelievable. And there's Kevin 14. We were going to touch on some stats, mate, but you're right. Radio Scotland just said Celtic had 893 passes and 93 dangerous attacks. And I think, in terms of passes, I think St Johnstone only had about 160 or something. Those type of figures that you would recall them back from the Guardiola days at Barcelona and stuff like that. That's the kind of the echelons that we're performing at right now in terms of our domestic, league. Mate, you mentioned Taylor briefly there.
whenever you're talking about height-wise with him and Maeda, but I think you were quite impressed with Greg Taylor. And it's
very.
Worth pointing out that when everything's good and rosy in the garden, people like Taylor don't really get mentioned. But whenever we get a bad result, Taylor's probably one of the first people on people's lips. And that's just kind of how things go sometimes. But you need to recognise people whenever they turn in good performances. So you've been impressed with Taylor, yeah?
Absolutely, mate. The last couple of games, I thought his work rate and determination has been top class. As you said there, mate, he's kind of one of the guys that's come in for a lot of stick this season. Probably rightly so. Possibly a wee bit overboard. I don't know. That's down to everybody's opinion. But Greg Taylor today was outstanding, I thought. Whether he was bombing forward on the left and supporting Jota, or where impressed me the most was when he was actually being that inverted fullback, Gav, and he was moving everything inside. I thought he was really, really kind of pivotal to our attacks. And he just allowed so much movement for guys like Hatate to go forward and go to the side. And just a great performance. And another guy who... Peter. The way just came down the Sonic masker. Another guy who some people have been critical this season is Big Carl Starfelt, and I thought he had another great game. His reading of the game has went up so much in my estimation, Gav. He said last week on one of the kind of half-time Celtic kind of teaser question things that he actually thought that he was the fastest guy in the squad. And today, mate, his recovery pace was absolutely top class. But listen, we've got a wee visitor just popped up, our Dale from the Celtic Supporters podcast. So we're going to bring him in.
Brilliant.
Derek, how are you, buddy?
Very good, mate. Just back for the game. So, aye, buzzing, mate. The place was electric today, man. The atmosphere was good. I've been listening to these on the way home, so. I think what Gav had said earlier, it's a nice day outside after the victory last week. Kyogo coming back, quick start, good performance. Everton beat Man United.
Hey,
fucking what a Saturday, mate! Can't complain.
we've literally just touched on the first half there, mate. We talked about the goal for Hatate, talked about the goal for Giakoumakis, and then obviously his injury, and then we were talking about Maeda as well. What was your take on the first half, mate, at the game?
Probably one of the best performances I've seen this year, to be honest with you. First half and second half. I just thought we were on it for the kick-off. I thought we were on it right away. The pressing, the intensity, the amount of attacks we had. If I'm going to nitpick a wee tiny bit, I thought Big Tam was a wee bit off his game today. Gave the ball away in 2 or 3 occasions, but that's me just being picky because it's certainly one of the best games I've seen at Paradise this year. To a man, I thought everybody on the park was superb, done their jobs well. It just shows you Big Ange and the characters that we've got after last week that, as he said, we don't stop. And again, the day just proved the guy's philosophy. And I just think the team is so together now and so determined and striving for perfection and they win this league. And it's an absolute joy to watch, man. The day was brilliant at Paradise. Absolutely loved it.
Dale, just a wee question, mate. I'd asked Gav this about 5 minutes ago. Have you ever seen a Celtic team who is so relentless in the press, the way that Ange's got this Celtic team set up? Have you ever seen anything like it?
Probably no, to be honest with you, mate. Even Brendan
to that intensity and level, you know what I mean?
Nah. Even Brendan Rodgers is an attacking style, man. Probably the kind of early on when Sinclair was firing and the Paddy Roberts and guys like that when we were on for him and flying. Nah, I don't think they compete with Ange's pressing. I think it's 2 totally different systems, but nah, since I've been there, going back, watching McCarry's teams and Tommy Burns and all the kind of teams, I've never seen a Celtic team that presses so high. St Johnstone are a great side. I heard Gav talking about they never had much to play for. I think that was clear to see today. They just sat in. They never really chased anything down. But no, the intensity's phenomenal. Maeda, the day, Jesus Christ, man, that guy just does not fucking run out of energy ever. Unbelievable.
So,
Hatate, I thought, I heard he's talking about Hatate, mate. I thought he looked absolutely burst last week at the ship pit, and I thought that would have been one of the changes today. We'll get on to O'Reilly, obviously, but I thought they'd have rested him, but I thought he was fantastic today, Hatate.
It was.
Just a wee shout out, Gav. Sorry to interrupt, mate. We've got another guy in for us all the way from Australia. Daniel Steen, thanks for the show, boys, from here in Oz. Thanks very much for tuning in, mate. Gav, just a wee Gav, sorry, mate. Just a wee question for you. I know Dale kind of said that maybe the only team that he's seen who showed this type of press was Brendan Rodgers. And I think that's probably the last one that kind of promised this kind of intensity and pressing. What do you think that the difference is between Brendan Rodgers' pressing Celtic and Ange's pressing Celtic?
I don't fucking know, mate. I don't know. I was actually preparing to ask you guys a question.
Sorry, mate. My apologies.
No. It was about the comparison between Ange's style of play and Brendan Rodgers when they're at their best, and who is more pleasing on the eye aesthetically, our style of play right now or back at Brendan's day whenever we were firing on all cylinders. In terms of pressing, the thing that you'll notice, if one guy goes to press, everybody else has to buy into that. So it only works if everybody does it as a pack. You'll notice that if one person presses and nobody else bothers their arse, then it fails, and you're basically a man down because the opponents have already beaten one of your kind of front lines. So as long as everybody buys into it, then it's a working formula. But I was kind of wondering who would like to pick up the baton for this. Who's more aesthetically pleasing on the eye, the Brendan Rodgers team or Ange's team right now? Or is it too early to ask that? Am I being unfair?
No, I think you can certainly say that some of Brendan Rodgers' football was a dream come true. But for me, the difference from then and seeing the best Ange's football that we've seen this season is the quick turnover from getting the ball to actually going up the park. Because you looked at Brendan Rodgers' team and there was a lot of side passing. There was a lot of kind of moments where he actually said to himself, he says, we'll take our time, we'll wait for the openings. Ange's team aren't waiting for nothing. They're waiting for no man. They're waiting for no time. They're just going for the jugular. They're creating every opening that they can. They're not waiting for anybody else. They're taking the mantle on their own shoulders and going out and trying to actively win games. It's just, it's frightening. It really is frightening, the kind of speed, and how much these guys are holding on to energy. And I was actually going to bring it up later on now, but I think it ties in to everything that we're seeing now. We heard at the start of the season, for Don Mackay, that Celtic were going to try and bring themselves into this kind of these times, and try and kind of magnify everything. But I think one of the biggest and best signings we've probably made, that maybe nobody is really going to mention, is the guy Anton McAloon, because early on we had guys suffering from a lot of hamstring injuries when Celtic were trying to create this kind of method of playing. But we've went a massive big gap with hardly any injuries, and the guys that have been injured are all starting to get back now. And I know Giakoumakis came off a hamstring injury today, but who else has had an injury in the last few months of that ilk? You know what I mean? And the guys they're not dropping their kind of active levels of performance and fitness. Everything is staying at a very, very high level from the start of the game until the end of the game.
I totally agree with you. I couldn't disagree with that point. Dale mentioned O'Reilly, and I was going to say, man, the next 3 flashpoints in the second half.
Leave it for the man.
O'Reilly is integral to it. So you were thinking at that point, we're 3-0 up. We've got the game against Rangers next Sunday. Do your sticker first. The only change you made at that point was O'Reilly came on for Rodgers, and on the 52nd minute, Juranovic scores a penalty. But it was all down to O'Reilly with his is an incisive pass to Hatate, who gets goal side of the defender, gets bundled over, and Juranovic scores a penalty. And then we've got 2 more goals. So in the 70th minute and 73rd minute, O'Reilly scored a header and one in the top corner. Dale, what was your impression of O'Reilly? Because within less than 20 minutes in the second half, O'Reilly is just basically he's on to a hat-trick at that point.
His first goal, I can't mind it one I missed because we man did a push, but I seen the one he put in the tap bin, which I can't remember. Was that the goal? There must have been 50 passes before it easily, all over the park. That's the one I seen. I think it was his first goal I missed in. I think when you look at O'Reilly when he signed, you can see the absolute quality that the boys got for especially a boy so young, and we've got that in Abada and Ralston and Giakoumakis and whoever else now. But I thought O'Reilly stepped up the tempo a wee bit today. I think Tam is maybe a wee bit off it, just needing a wee rest. I think he starts next week, to be honest with you. But O'Reilly was really, really good when he came on. Very, very clever football player. Really, really good in tight situations. Him, McGregor, Turnbull as well when he came on today. I thought passing the wee triangles and that were absolutely phenomenal today. And what sometimes got a wee bit too much packed at the edge of their box, which is going to happen when you've got 11 players sitting behind the ball. But the options that we've got in the squad now are absolutely phenomenal, especially in the middle of the park. McCarthy made another appearance again today, which was one of the things I was thinking about Giakoumakis and why he's not getting any more minutes when he is fit. I don't know if the McCarthy thing is solely his money and the 4-year contract that he's on. I think it's been well stated he wasn't a Postecoglou signing. Don't think he would be there if Big Ange wasn't there. So I don't know why Giakoumakis not playing, but good to see Turnbull getting more minutes. Good to see O'Reilly getting more minutes. I think the midfield's frightening. I think it's as good as we've had for probably the last 10 years on forum. But his second goal was. I don't know how many passes it was. I think the boys in the telly, the boys that are watching will maybe be able to tell us a bit clearer, but it must have been close to 40, 50 goals, and it must be up for goal of the season. It's got to be. Just for the build-up play alone, it must be up there for goal of the season.
Just a wee quick one here, Gav. Frank Brennan, how you doing, buddy? Hope you enjoyed the game. Like it or not, Brendan Rodgers' style of pure magnificent football, and particularly in the Invincible season, was just simply poetry in motion. Absolutely, mate, and one of the greatest seasons in memory. And I hope you don't think we were trying to have a dig at Brendan Rodgers. That wasn't the case. We were trying to just kind of find a similar team who played with a pressing game, and the only one that I can think is Brendan Rodgers' team. But again, Brendan Rodgers did say, and quote this at the time, that his team would wait for openings, and I think that's the difference for me, is that Celtic are so much faster in the transition for getting the ball at the back to go and try and chase a goal, and they just don't stop. They really don't.
I remember another thing, whenever the crowd would groan at Parkhead, whenever the ball would get passed back to the defence and to the goalkeeper under Brendan Rodgers tried to get the fans back on side and say, we'll only do it to start up a new attack. I think you see that less with Ange Postecoglou. I think we'd all agree on that. Are much more direct. They like to force the opposition into, chasing shadows, as we saw today, and with the best that we've got. I think the work rate, you might possibly argue that the work rate that we've got, certainly from people at Abada, from Maeda, pardon me, might be more intensive than Brendan Rodgers' team. But it's a good comparison, but obviously Brendan Rodgers, the Invincible season, that was something to behold anyway. But O'Reilly, second half, what an impact the guy made. And I think the competition for players, especially in training right now, which dictates who gets a starting 11 slot, it must be such a competitive training field to witness at Lennoxtown. And O'Reilly must be really champing at the bit to go on, because he must have had the point to prove, as Dale alluded to. And then Abada, of course, he came on in the second half, and he could have had a few goals as well. you also could have set up Kyogo right at the end for a wee goal. But Abada did get a goal and finish it off a sumptuous move. Kyogo did the kind of quarterback style pass. It came back into our half. He did the quarterback style pass. Maeda chested it down, and Abada just ran onto it, and it volleyed onto the roof of the net. Beautiful goal, Paddy.
Stunning, mate. Stunning. Just everything about every single facet of Celtic's play today was mind blowing. As I say, as soon as we get the ball, St Johnstone. I think St Johnstone played with the three at the back, which I'm not quite sure if they do that quite regularly, but I think they played with the three at the back to try and kind of almost equal the kind of the compression that Celtic would have in the midfield. But it just whatever they done, there was just nothing they could do. As I said earlier on, they tried to make one kind of breakaway run, and just like that, Juranovic was back, Starfelt was back. Nothing they could do could kind of make any penetration into Celtic's defence. It was just that's. I'm trying to think of a more dominant performance that I've seen in a long time, and I can't think any. No, to that extent. No, even so much the goals, but just the general build-up play. Just magnificent.
First half against the Huns at Paradise.
Well, there is that deal. You wouldn't have seen that anyway, would you?
No, on the couch. I think let's get my ticket.
There's a good one there. Frank Brennan. McCarthy is the footballing equivalent of Robert De Niro making 15-minute cameos when he feels up to it.
Aye, I agree.
Yep.
Robert De Niro, not often you would see him and Al Pacino in a movie. I think there's actually four in total. But do you think we'll see many games with Kyogo and Giakoumakis in the same team together?
Kyogo can play it wide, can't he? So I don't see why no. I think if you play the two of them when Kyogo plays it wide, doesn't he? 100%. Giakoumakis is your focal point up the top, but I don't see why no, mate. I don't think it makes. Do you think it makes that much of a difference if Kyogo plays instead of Maeda?
I think it does now, mate.
I would agree to a certain extent with Maeda's pressing, but Kyogo's work rate is absolutely phenomenal as well. I would love to see the two of them playing. I don't think we'll see the both of them playing through the middle, but I think before the season's out, fingers crossed, Big GG's scans or whatever he needs to do at Ross Hall on Monday comes back clear. Aye, Gav, I think you'll see the two of them playing up in a front three before the end of the season.
Right, Dale, last time you were on the podcast, you felt, as you're quite entitled to say, you felt the title's in the bag. So, my question to you is, the treble then. Is the treble, do we have one hand on the treble?
Listen, I think if you're a Celtic fan, it has to be in the conversation. For me, the league's done. Fingers crossed Big Giakoumakis is fit for next week. I think the record we've got at Hampden in the last 15, 20 years is very, very good. We've only lost against I think the penalty shootout, possibly under Kishinya. I mean, God can't mind, 2015 or 16. Big Park suits our pressing game. Obviously, after the last two derbies, I'm relatively comfortable getting into a Huns game next week. Really, really comfortable getting into it. I was confident last week. Aye, the treble conversation's got to be had. Every single Celtic fan will be speaking about it. I've got absolutely no doubt in my mind, but it's a derby next week. Derbies throw up strange results, and no matter what way the other semi-finals goes, you've got one of the Edinburgh sides. So, listen, it's a tough 2 games to get there. Really, really tough 2 games to get there. But I'm not saying the treble's 100% on. The league's won. The treble will be hard to do, but it's really, really hard not to think about it. And Ange's first season, and Paddy would say, man, it gets the balls tingling, doesn't it? Think about it.
Certainly does, mate. Tingling the now. I'm sitting here with a bottle of baby oil and some toilet paper. But no, listen, just on that, Gav, I've been kind of... I've not wanted to get too excited at certain points of this season, but now, like, I'm just like, I can't get my mind off a treble now, and I know that's maybe tempting fate, but at the same time, we're still in this. We're still in. We are shouting a treble, so what's the point in being in it if you don't want to win it, kind of thing? Do you know what I mean? I think, like, we want to talk about Giakoumakis and fucking crying Jack the other day about Giakoumakis' comments being disrespectful. I don't think it is now. I think it was just an outpour of confidence. You know, he says, I think we're the best team. I think we're going to win the league. And, you know, is that really that bad a thing to say? No. You know, is it absolutely not, mate? It's just total confidence. That coming from Manny players. Obviously, if it backfires in your face, then you're like, what you saying that for? But, hey, do you know what? The team's rip roaring, full of confidence. They're free scoring. Aye, one will go for it. So let's try and get to the final first.
This is the Ryan Jack at Kimona. Pat Keaton tried to fucking break a 16-year-old's legs. That the same Ryan Jack we're talking about? Aye. Right. That guy. Aye. Fuck him.
That's all loser. Yeah, by the see at half time on Celtic TV, they did the interview with Giakoumakis, and I love this. They were asking all these like powder puff questions, and one of them was, "What's your favourite thing to do on a day off?" And he says, "Watch football." I'm like, just stick on Sky Sports and watch football. I love that. A football player who, even when he's not working, he lives and breathes football, and that's the mentality you want for a goal machine like Giakoumakis. I love that, man.
By the way, another guy who made his return today, Gav, was Turnbull. How do you think he's going to fare back into this Celtic side? Because obviously we all know Turnbull's qualities and what he can bring to the table, and we've all seen the side that he needs to improve on. But do you think that the likes of Hatate, O'Reilly, possibly even Beaton are all ahead of him in the pecking order in that midfield trio?
No.
I think Hatate and O'Reilly are ahead of him in the pecking order. Whenever we started off this season, it was always McGregor, Rodgers and Turnbull, because we never had serious competition apart from Beaton. Beaton's done very well, but Beaton is 100% a number 6. Turnbull is not a number 6. He's a number 8, possibly a number 10. But with the recruitment that we've had in midfield, which has been fantastic, they've hit the ground running. O'Reilly and Hatate, massive competition right now. But the good thing is about Turnbull, he's a young player. He's got a very good attitude, and the boy is talented. Yes, he might not be the most athletic, might not be the quickest over 10 yards, but I think with the environment that he's in, you know, we're better to thrive. So if you've got good competition, it's going to bring out the best in you. So it's a good problem for us to have. Maybe not the best problem for him to have personally, if he wants to get plaudits and more game time, but it's good for us as selfish Celtic supporters.
Just a wee question I want to ask to Frank Brennan, who's in the comment section. Frank, I had a wee conversation with my old fella the other day, and I was talking about the stats that was brought out about Maeda, and it basically alluded to the fact that he's the fastest player that's ever played in Scotland. And my old man, who's maybe possibly ages with yourself, Frank, told me no. He says Bobby Lennox is the fastest guy that's ever played in Scotland. So just to get your opinion on that, mate, because I'm hoping that you are wise enough to have seen him play. Just to hear what you've got to say on that, buddy.
I've seen the lines I'll ask coming on.
Is DJ Regat not in the equation for that one?
Got to be. He was fucking lightning, man. He was lightning. I got really, really quick.
Aye. You know who was always really quick? Willie Wallace. Wispy Wallace. He was a very quick player, but Bobby Lennox was my favourite Lisbon line, for sure.
Aye, I got.
Right, okay, so we're going to be doing the Tuesday roundup, and of course there's going to be a lot of chat about the build-up to the Hampden game next Sunday. But did any of you read the Dermot Desmond interview? And was there any kind of snippets that you took away from that? Things you're happy with, things that you took issue with?
Came across really well, didn't it?
Do you know what? See what you just said there, Dale. I thought at the time, when I heard it, I thought it was actually rather kind of refreshing and outspoken for big Joseph Fritzl. You don't really hear much from him. But see the stuff. I know, right? He's absolute fucking doppelganger, isn't he? Let's see. Sorry, there's Frank Brennan. I agree with your dad, Paddy, about Sir Bobby Lennox, MBE, and he wasn't called the buzz bomb for nothing. So there you are. There's the kind of generational gap that we've got and what we've seen. So that's great to hear for yourself, Frank. Thanks very much for replying, buddy. Appreciate it. Desmond, as I say, just to touch on what Dale said there was a few things that I thought was great. Well, I say great. It was refreshing to hear. He was quite outspoken and alluded to a lot of things that we wanted to hear. It might have been a far bit too late, which I heard some of that stuff last season. But again, it was good to hear stuff that we've known and we've always asked these questions. He was talking about the likes of him and Peter Lawwell. Since Peter Lawwell was appointed in 2000, have been the two guys that do the appointing of the manager. And what he says is it goes to a 5-man shortlist at every single time. That was good to know that. But after it, when I actually sat down and thought about it, I went, hold on a minute. Did Peter Lawwell not tell us that Lennon, all the CVs went into the draw and Lennon was appointed in the showers? You know what I mean? And then you've got the thing as well, right back at the very start, 2000, we were the board had agreed to go and sign Gus Hiddink, and just by an unknown, a chance meeting, between Dermot Desmond and Martin O'Neill. Dermot Desmond went back and managed to convince the board to go ahead with the Martin O'Neill sign. So that's not a 5-man shortlist. So that's nonsense right away. He also says that Ange, to quote what he says Ange is the chairman of Celtic in terms of who does the signings. He says that the only things that the board is there for is to pass forward a budget. Dale, you alluded to it earlier on with McCarthy. That's not a Postecoglou signing. Liam Scales isn't a Postecoglou signing. Joe Hart isn't a Postecoglou signing.
Before Postecoglou, but wasn't he?
Yeah, same way Craig Gordon was in before.
You remember Marion Shved under Brendan Rodgers? Brendan Rodgers openly admitted to it that he basically said, I don't even know who this guy is. Paddy, one thing that I would say, and again, it's not a pile on the Dermot Desmond, I think there were some positives and negatives to take away from it. One observation that I've got, and I'm not as cynical as McGinty, but Dermot Desmond is a very, very shrewd businessman, and the timing of his interview is quite telling, because we know that he's not been very popular with a faction of the Celtic fans, and especially the timing of such an interview is quite important, and it's quite telling that that only came out a few days after beating Rangers away from home, whenever people are saying the title is now in the bag. So he chose his moment. He chose his moment carefully to give that interview. But he's a smart guy, so I don't blame him for that. That's not a criticism, just an observation.
Aye, I think that's like his third interview since he's been here. It's just a thing the guy doesn't do. He flies under the radar. And listen, some of the stick he gets is fair enough to some people, but I think if you look at the bigger picture and the amount of money that he's put into the club as the major shareholder for so long is absolutely phenomenal. I would rather not hear from him, like you would rather not hear from any board members or owners. You want to see the success on the park, and listen, for the last 2 decades, going right back to the early 2000s, it's been one of the best bits in the club's history. So, he comes in for a wee bit of stick. I think you're bang on, Gav. He's come out when the club's in an absolute high for last week. It looks as if we're going to win the league, and he's looked at an opportunity, probably from a businessman's perspective. That's why the guy's a billionaire, because he knows when to strike while the iron's hot, and that's what he's done with the fans. We're all happy now. A lot of people have had a wee glance through it and overlooked it and put it to one side, and that's kind of what I've done. You know what I mean? I don't really take corners at it.
Guys, I need to fuck off. But you guys want to continue, you are my guest. But is that all right?
Absolutely
I'm
fine,
happy
mate.
to do another wee 20 minutes or whatever you want to do, Paddy. I'm all good.
Yeah, Bill, what
No
you
worries,
want?
Bob.
What you want?
I'm just in for the game, then I'm doing this, and then I need to go and build railways. So I had a wee meat feast, spicy pizza out the Asda with some tatty veggies, mate. It was fucking absolutely lovely.
I bet that's
With
not the
some
first
gar-
bit of
with
meat
some
you've rammed down your throat, Dale.
Garlic oil. Just every couple of Sundays, Paddy, I get the meat down the throat, you know what I mean?
Right, guys, no pressure. I'm a believer. Have a good weekend, all right? Catches.
Cheers, Gav.
Take care, mate.
So what was the atmosphere like before the game, Dale? I know that the North Curve had a great tifo in the go.
Aye, the tifo was
Noise
good,
sounded
mate.
excellent.
Tifo was good. Say, nice day. Had to be, man, ways. Lovely walk up to Park Keed. The sun was shining. You could still feel the buzz falling on for last week. Everybody was in a good mood. It's good to see folk at the fit with just the Celtic taps on. No jackets and hats, just the hoops and the strips and that. One thing I did notice today.
Stephen Von Bevan, St Johnstone got a full on Maeda meat fest down their throats.
Fucking didn't know. One thing I did notice, I don't know if anybody will be able to elaborate on it. The Jungle Boys have been shifted. I know.
Yes, I seen that, mate. I seen that.
So
just to about the away fans, is it?
The last home game, there was a bit of police presence in Stewards up at 444, and the guy next to me had said something had happened. I don't know what happened, but I sat quite close to them, as you know, Paddy. You've been in my seat. I was fucking gutted, man, because obviously I'm at the opposite side of the stadium for the North Curve and the Green Brigade boys, and sitting so close to them, they're constant. They're 90-minute singers. They boys never fucking shut up. So, they've been shifted right over to the Lisbon Lions, as right behind the St Johnstone fans today. So, I don't know if anybody knows what's happened, or it's been a move that they wanted. I don't know what the crack was, but mate, just a glorious day at Paradise, sunshine, one of the best performances of the year, and just keeping the buzz going, mate, going into next week.
Keep ticking, mate. You look at the league table. So that's us. We're 9 points ahead now. Obviously, we've got a game in hand of the Sevco, who go to Paisley tomorrow to take on St Mirren. But the goal difference for Celtic, plus 59. Mate,
how many have we scored? 80 odd?
I'm not sure, mate. We've got 82 points, I know that. But it's been relentless at times, isn't it? With the chasing of the goals, the build-up movement. Like the famous words for Ange is, "We don't stop till they stop," and we do not stop. You know, it's the whole team just sets a precedent every time they walk out in the park, and you can see it right away. You can see the attitude we're going to play with, and the new it's constantly kind of tactfully aggressive. You know what I mean? We're no aggressive in the nature that we're getting in and flinging tackles and studs up, but we're so aggressive on the press, so aggressive on the counter, aggressive in the pass as well. It's
we don't pick up very many bookings. I heard Gav talking about that earlier. And listen, that's probably the way Ange is and his coaching and how meticulous he is with stuff. That'll be a training ground thing as well, because I don't think you need to be picking up yellows and red cards, especially in games like St Johnstone and stuff at home, where you do want the high press, you want Maeda and that closing it down, and then your midfield backing you up and nicking goals here and there, and that's what we've been doing all year. But we don't need to foul, because if we do lose the ball, or don't win the high press, then we're not under any pressure because we're still in the final third. We've still got a backy McGregor and big Captain Carter Vickers here to, if somebody gets away with the ball. But overall, mate, it's just, I can remember doing podcasts just this time last year, mate, and it's just fucking great to be in this position and talk about what we're talking about and about trebles and winning 7-9 at Parkhead after a derby victory, and now looking forward to going to Hampden next Sunday, which I luckily got a ticket for. So, aye, mate, I'm fucking buzzing now, mate.
I'll ask you a wee question a minute after I ask you this one. I've noticed as well, right, and I'm no really that big on stats, as you know, Dale, probably the same as yourself. Maybe the odd stat here and there, but I'm not quite as much into the in-depth stuff. But as far as I'm of the opinion, we don't really have, we've not really had that many offsides this season. The team, the wingers, the forwards, they seem to be a lot more kind of in tune to their position. They like, say, maybe last season and seasons before that, we've had a lot of guys who were perennially offside, guys like Griffiths, Stokes, a Jetty as well. But even the likes of Jota, I can probably count in one hand the amount of times I've seen a flag up for Jota. And Maeda, I really don't know.
Aye, now that you're saying it, it's ringing true, to be honest with you. I don't even know if I can't mind an offside today at all.
I think there's one today that I can remember.
Aye, and again, is that party's overall master plan, and it's obviously got to the day with the way we set up, because a lot of our goals come with Jota and Abada, whoever else been out wide. So if they're in a position on the shy line at either side, then whilst looking at the ball, they're constantly looking across the line to see where they are. And big Giakoumakis doesn't need to be sitting right on top of somebody's shoulder, especially if the crosses are coming in. So I think the style of the play probably contributes to that as well, rather than finding guys getting caught offside because you're pinging long balls, or Giakoumakis is noting stuff down and guys are offside. So I think that's probably another wee thumbs up to the way Ange plays football. It's no long ball material. Fucking, we don't need to do it. We don't need to do it against Rangers either. That's a good thing.
It's probably all the tiny facets that he's constantly working on. You know what I mean? He's kind of one of these. He's one of these pernickety guys. Well, obviously in a good way. But he's going to be looking at all the kind of finer details and try to tune everything in. But it's going to bounce onto the comments now, mate. We've got my third comment for Australia today. Go on yourself. Greetings from Sydney, Australia. How you doing, buddy? Jungle Chums podcast, an absolute brilliant game of what all these fantastic Celtic players put together in unity. We're going mental here, getting plastered. Good, mate. As long as you're not like me last week and getting filled with the Fosters because it tastes like fucking kangaroo pish.
Aye.
John Coyle, they both have made some mistakes, but they have run our club and kept us sustainable. Do understand why fans complain, but maybe over the top at time. Yep, and that leads on to Frank Brennan's comment about Fergus McCann. Fergus McCann was not perfect and never professed to be, and he got it wrong now and again in his time at Celtic Park. But the facts are only ever that if it wasn't for his 9 million, Celtic would have folded. Absolutely.
Yes.
And time's been kind to Fergus. I know, obviously, there was a time at the start. He was vilified and whatnot, but, you know, anybody that looks back, this is the Fergus McCann era. You know, the modern day Celtic he helped to build. And aye, they done it.
He did. He should have a statue, mate. I don't know how he hasn't. What are you doing? Sending him in for beers?
No, mate. No, he's in like Fries Lollies.
Top six. I heard he's talking about that earlier. It's worked out all right, mate. It's worked out all right. What's happening with me, Barra? How you getting on?
Right, beat it.
Is that a white Galaxy too?
A white Magnum.
Oh, they fucked about Paddy's house.
Sorry, mate, what were you saying there?
Aye, mate, the top six is looking good, mate. Obviously, the Huns, the wee Huns, and Motherwell at him, Ross County. Is that right? Motherwell or
Yes.
Ross County? Couldn't remember. But
Hearts, Dundee United,
definitely Tannadice.
Motherwell and Ross County.
That's a certainty. But I mean, the top six, I was very surprised. I seen Motherwell scored a very, very late equaliser to knock Livingston out. Sean Maloney's Hibs revolution hasn't went too well.
I think he'll be sacked in the morning, mate.
That wee rat Halliday I seen scored a couple of goals a day as well. But Aberdeen and Hibs, mate, finishing outside that top six. I can't believe Ross County are a top six Scottish team. It probably tells you a lot about the quality in the Scottish game this year, doesn't it? That Ross County, the small, I think they've got the smallest budget in the league.
The middle of the table has been incredible. I can't remember it being so tight amongst so many teams. But I'm delighted that Livingston never got into the top half. It's just a horrible wee team, a horrible wee manager, horrible pitch. But, you know, Tannadice is always a great trip. So I'm not sure who we play at home or away. But any team that we play is going to be a hard one. But, you know, we're in such a good frame of mind now. You know, that we've got confidence. We can go anywhere. We can beat anybody. Just a wee couple of comments now, mate. Sean McAteer, good man. Hong Kong CSC believe that the league is over. Hail, hail, boys. And hail, hail to you, mate, on that side of the world. Thanks for commenting. There's Frank again. We all have to remember that we play in the overall woeful and mediocre SPL that generates no money whatsoever, and so this only ever means that we have to adhere to strict budget in all aspects.
I think that goes for both sides of the Glasgow divide or the new divide, whatever you want to fucking call it. I think when the Celtic were winning the 9 in a row and they're getting it, he's only won fucking 4 because we weren't there and all that. I think that's been the fact for years with Celtic and Rangers. And it's an argument that doesn't really have a lot of substance, to be honest with you. We can't control any other team in Scottish football, including them, including Ross County, including Inverness Cali Thistles and Gretna's and all that shite that we've had to play. What we need to do as a club is be successful, keep the fans fucking happy, get trophies in the trophy room, and whether you're playing St Johnstone and beating them 7-0 or beating the Huns fucking 2-0, we can only beat what's in front of us. I don't buy into all the we weren't here push and 8.5 in a row and all the crap that comes with it. Scottish football's never been blessed with finances. To win the league, you get less than what you do for the Sydney Cup, which is an embarrassment, to be fair. But that's to do with Sky deals, it was to do with BT deals, it's to do with Premier Sports Cups, it's to do with everything out with our control. So be successful, win leagues, and fuck everybody else, innit?
Of course it is, mate, and of course money is a big help, but it doesn't always equal success. You look at the likes of Aberdeen, who under Stephen Glass and that went out and spent big, Hibs as well, teams like that, and you've got Ross County are in the top 6 before them. As you say that yourself, mate, they've hardly any decent finances behind them, but what they're doing is they're going out and playing the right way, which is a strange thing to say under Malky Mackay, isn't it? That they're going out and playing attack.
I've heard quite a lot of journalists and folk on the radio saying that about County this year, actually, that they actually play some good football.
They do, mate. Look at the game that they played against us, you know, the one with Big Tony Ralston scored the 95th minute winner or something. Ross County were brilliant that day. Really attacked us and never gave us a moment to kind of sit at peace. I
think you get that every now and then, don't you? That a team manages to assemble a half-decent squad and they have a really good season, and then what generally happens in Scotland is they get nitpicked off Celtic and Rangers and Aberdeen. Some of the guys disappeared into England and reappear back 2 years later on loan at St Mirren's and all that kind of stuff. So, listen, Ross County are a team that I don't dislike, I don't like, they don't bother me. So, good luck to them, man. Well done in getting in the top 6. Other than that, the rest of them in that top 6 can go and take a fuck to themselves. Motherwell, Hearts, the Huns, know what I mean?
There's a comment there for Kinetic 67. Our 2 away games are United and Ross County. So there you go.
Motherwell, the Huns and the Diet Huns at home for the last 3 games in the season ticket.
I'll take that. I'll take
brilliant.
that. Tannadice is a good ground for an away day. Brilliant. Always has been. Always enjoyed going there. Dundee they play well this season, mate. Really, really well.
I think they're a hard team to beat, aren't they? They're a hard team to beat. I know the Rotten Mob have struggled. I don't think they've won up there this year, have they?
I'm not sure, mate. I'm really not sure.
2 games, 2 defeats in the league. I'm sure. Aye. We left back scored at the first game and they get beat their last game there as well. I'm sure I called it with my Rangers dropping points wisdom, Paddy. Tends to be when I've been on this podcast I've done it. So the Hunt St Mirren tomorrow. Get your money on it.
Oh, there you go. I think the old St Mirren's going to get a couple of points. Listen, there's Big Bobby Dazzler. Want to come on as well and say hello?
Hello.
There he is.
Dazbot.
It's hard.
Still get you.
There he is.
Try to turn you porn off here.
Wait, it's hard into it.
Aye, it was the U-Pod, mate. It was the highlights of the Celtic St Johnstone game.
By the way, that was epic to a new scale. I'm not going to lie, boys. I was shiting myself today. I was like that. Oh my God, man, this is a tricky one. I say St Johnstone have got a wee run of results together there. Actually, you know what I mean? It's like a rat in a corner. They come out fighting.
Yep.
But by the way, that was. I don't know if you've seen my Snapchats. That was fucking relentless. Oh my!
Superb, mate, wasn't it?
You might know this, mate. When was the last time we beat a team 7-0? Just off the heart, can you think?
St Johnstone. No, last season, the season before when we won 9 in a row. We were in Marmaris. We were in Marmaris at the time. Because I says to Amy, Amy's my startle. I says to Amy, is this the most you've ever seen? And she goes, no, the last time we beat St Johnstone 7-0 here. I was like, oh, aye, that's right. But
was that the one? It was one.
Mikey Johnston's. I don't know. Mikey Johnston scored. I remember.
Aye.
I don't know. Mikey Johnston scored. I remember that much. And then, like I said, I was on holiday. But the time before that was obviously 9-0. Aberdeen was the last one I remember before that.
I remember that. Jamie Langfield was in and fucking battered them, aye.
Well, my pal Big Paddy was like that to the day at the game. He was like, he goes, I was talking about it because see when the 7th went in the day, I was listening to see if I wanted to see if they played the Magnificent 7 tune, and they did. And I was like, I goes, mind they beat Aberdeen 9-0, and the 7th went in. Larson and Sutton was doing the half-time draw, and when they played the Magnificent 7 tune there, so it was like a great touch when we got to 7th. But my God, man, that was epic today.
Brilliant. It's one of the best I've seen this year, mate. Without a doubt. The stadium is fucking bouncing today and all, isn't it?
There's Joe Curran making a good point. I felt for St Johnstone, the best team in Scotland last year. Hail. Aye. double cup winners last season.
Couldn't care less.
Listen, as you say, Dale, couldn't care less who we done it to, where we done it to. We just want to see the best for your team. And unfortunately, some teams are going to have to take a drubbing off us. So,
by the way,
tough shot.
I was working today, right?
Catch you later, pal, buddy. Thanks for coming on, pal.
I says to the gaffers, I was like, look, any chance you can fuck me through the week now because it's 4 days on, 4 days off. I went, can you fuck me for 3 days and then he's a flyer today? And they're like, we'll do what we can. We're not promising. And then yesterday I get told that I was going to Perth. I'm fucking Perth. I'm never going to make it back for the game. I'd phoned my pal and I was like, look, can you take the rain? Because he parks near the house. I went, can you take the rain when you park up? And he was like, aye. And then I got to my first one of the day at 7 and I was buzzing, man. I was flying in them. I got to see if I had missed that today. I'd have quit my job. I'm telling you.
Aye, definitely, mate. It's one of the best, and it's good walking up to the game, man, and the sunshine again, wasn't it? Seeing everything. That's what I was saying to Paddy earlier. Just see Seen cunts just stoating about with the Celtic taps on, sitting in the grass, getting a snout, talking shite to folk, and bit of sunshine in your face, and then even I was saying to Paddy earlier, the Jungle Boys have shifted into the Huns end. Even up behind me the day, Paddy, up at 441, everybody was getting fucking into it and starting songs, and the Green Brigade were giving it you all day. You could hear the Jungle Boys out of the far corner. And they done the old huddle and all that today. It was fucking class, man. Honestly,
I'm a Jungle Boys fanboy. Do you know what's happening?
No, mate. I asked Paddy earlier.
That's what we were trying to figure out.
They're moving, right? So they're Huns in the day. But see next season, the opposite corner for the Green Brigade, the other, so basically the diagonal flag. So where I sit, the other corner flag, next to the main stand, they're gone there.
Are they? Up so the top or to the bottom?
The bottom, there is only the bottom there. They're basically the Huns end, the other end.
Oh, right. In that corner, I know what you mean. Aye, because somebody had said there was something had happened at the last home game with the Polish and the stewards and all that shit, and I says, nah, I think it's been a decision that have been trying to get moved, know what I mean?
I'll be back in a minute, right?
There we go. Big Dazbo on with the fucking breaking news.
Aye, on with the fucking Bacardi Breeze or whatever.
I was going to ask him, but he was drinking there, man.
I was hoping it was a bottle of rum, but no, I think.
Because I'm going to work tonight and I'm sitting here with a can of Iron Brew and that prick's drinking fucking pina colada. At least get a half decent drink he's on if he's coming on talking to the scheme boys. You know what I mean?
Sitting here with a fucking can of Carabao. Fuck's sake. Things have changed. Gav actually thought it would be a good start. He says, by the way, you were sober last Saturday, I know. It's like, all right.
But he's on me a munchie box, Smirnoff Ice, just to get the wee bit of sugar in me before I start on the Stella to watch the Masters.
I'm going to stick it on and all, mate. I'm going to stick it on. I'm a golfer myself.
You can stick your golf up your arse.
Golf's solely for intelligent people, Patrick.
What are you doing fucking watching it?
What am I doing? You owe me a munchie box. They tanned my dinner while I was on this. See if I'd have just stayed off it, I'd have got fed.
Hey, listen, it was your choice. That was your choice. Hey, listen, just before we...
Oh, listen.
No, listen, you. Just before we start taking round things off, what was your take on the game, Dazbo, overall? Who was your man in the match? Who do you think was a kind of one of the best players, this type of thing?
Right,
favourite
so
goal?
My favourite goal was Kyogo to Maeda. Maeda chested it down, Abada, rattle. That's how I've not seen the goals again on telly, so that's just on my head. Favourite man of the match, Joe Hart. I couldn't pick it. I'm only joking. I couldn't pick an outfield player, man. It was
hard, wasn't it? Everybody was brilliant.
That's what I said to Gav earlier on. Joe Hart was in a back three with Vickers and Starfield at one point.
He was nearly stood the fucking halfway line the full second half, man. But
that was amazing. That was amazing the day, wasn't it, man? It was just absolutely epic, man.
I was just saying that to Paddy before you come on and all, mate, with the split. The Huns, the wee Huns and Motherwell, man, fucking 3 brilliant games at Parkhead. When what's the crack anyway? When's the fixtures coming out Monday or something?
I think it's tomorrow, mate. It's sorry, Monday.
Aye,
even playing the Huns and the Huns the following week then.
I think that's what's
I'm sure I've seen somewhere that if we were playing them first,
yes,
it would have been the 24th of April.
Aye, so that's then.
I'm working, man.
Then you've got either Motherwell or Hearts. Hopefully Hearts at home for fucking trophy day. So scalp them twice. Lift the.
I think we're away Hearts.
No. Hearts. No, it's Ross. It's fucking Motherwell and.
I hope Alan Robertson's right.
Because did Maeda get beat with Hearts in the first game of the season? Then did we not beat them 4-0 at Tynecastle? We beat them. I'm sure we beat them 4-0 at Tynecastle. Do we not batter them a day?
Aye.
So it's the Huns that die at Huns. Aye.
That was after the Huns that we beat them. That was after the Huns that before the Huns, because I had just took on the new job and I was on night shifts and I was driving down to England and I listened to they were like my first 2 games on the night shifts.
2-1. Aye, that was the first game of the season. The 2-1 game. We'll find out tomorrow anyway. Whatever it may be. The fucking treble's on.
See, sorry, just before I go, I was talking to my pal today about pivotal moments, right? And see one of the most pivotal moments of this season, Ross County, as I spoke about last week, Ross County away. But see the week that we went down to Hibs and it was nothing each, right? And then we came back, it was nothing each, and I'm like, it was a Saturday, the Huns were at 3 o'clock, and they drew 2 each with Motherwell after being 2-0 up. That was an absolute, because I came home raging that day, right? And I was like, to the way, I'm like, it's done. I'm like, they'll kick on. They'll go and beat Motherwell today, and it's done. They'll kick on for this. By the way, I didn't realise Celtic got the whip out after that, man. It's got to get on the home straight. But
I know.
I mean, 6 winning games since then. Anyways, boys, thanks for my wee cameo role on here today.
Right. Right, just before you disappeared, Dazzler, where are you? Still there?
Aye.
Right, I'm going to finish it up, right? But I'm just going to hit you with some stats to finish it off, right? Just to show you how dominant we were. So, overall, 84% possession at Celtic to 16% St Johnstone's, 23 goal attempts to their 1, 10 shots on goal to none, 11 shots off goal to their 1. Total passes, 964 to their 182.
Fucking Barcelona.
892 completed passes to their 94. And 158 attacks to their 48. That's... Even without looking at all the data, it just tells you everything was so one-sided today and all Celtic.
See the 900 passes, were they the passes that was in between Matt O'Reilly's first and Matt O'Reilly's second, when we're all waiting for Kyogo to come on?
Mate, that's what I said. I think it was at Matt O'Reilly's second goal, the one he put in the top corner. I was saying that to fucking Paddy that earlier. That's got to be up there for contention of goal of the season, mate. It must have been 40 passes before that, by the way.
Aye, because I'm like kicking the ball out. I'm like kicking the ball out.
That, mate.
Matt really did a different idea, didn't he?
Place her up, keeping the wee man come on. It was good to see him back, but he's why he gets done with that fucking wog, man.
Who?
Kyogo, man. I'm not maybe saying that cause him baldy, but fucking, know what I mean? The blonde does it's not for me, man. Get something done.
Listen, he can
Japanese Machiavelli.
Mate, he could rock up with a fucking Bobby Charlton, I wouldn't care. Listen, 117. I know we're 17 minutes in. 100 odd watching. Thanks to everybody that's been commenting all the way from the start up to the end. Hope you're all having a brilliant day watching the game. I know you two guys have done 9 points at the top, 50 odd points at a goal difference. St Mirren to win tomorrow, or at least get a point.
1-0.
Happy days. If you haven't done it already, jump on, give us a wee subscription, pass it on, tell your pals. Jump on,
I'll need to do that.
We're here, we talk shite, we love it. We'll be back on Tuesday night with the Tuesday TikTok.
I'll be there.
You'll be there, Dasball. Good man. Tuesday night at the Jungle Gyms, Tuesday TikTok. Thanks for tuning in, Toops, and we'll see you soon. Mon Hoops.
Catch you.
All the best.